students, in this video we are going to cover chapter 6 of class 8. The name of the chapter is the parliamentary system, the legislative and executive. The previous chapter we studied a broad information about this, and now we are diving into the more informative part of this topic. Okay, so this is your synopsis, the overview of the chapter. You can see this, and we are now moving on to the first topic of this chapter, that is composition of the parliament in India. Okay, now the parliament is the core of India's government. We have seen this. Okay, we have seen this because they are the one who will decide all the major rules and regulations of our country. Okay, with two houses, the Lok Sabha houses, which is the lower house, okay, the house of people, and the Rajya Sabha, which is council of states, or the upper house. Okay, and the president working together in this. The structure with two houses is called a bicameral system. Okay, that means the structure with two houses of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, this we call bicameral system. Clear? Now, bi means two, and cameral means chamber and house. Okay, so we call it bicameral system. Clear? Now you can see the images. This is Lok Sabha and this is Rajya Sabha. Okay, they are based on a particular kind of theme. Okay, we will discuss about this. Now, while drafting the constitution, there were a wide debate on whether India should adopt a bicameral legislative or not. Okay, so it was agreed that a single directly elected house would not be enough to handle the needs of an independent nation. To uphold the idea of federalism, a second chamber, Rajya Sabha, or Council of States, was created. Its membership and election process were designed differently from the Lok Sabha. Federalism means that power is shared among central, state, and local systems, helping maintain a balance between national unity and regional interest. Okay, that means they were when we were drafting the constitution, it was not implemented. So at that time, we were confused about that we should actually implement bicameral system or not. But later we finally reached to a conclusion that to maintain federalism, which is power should be divided, no one alone can misuse the powers. It was important to make two houses, to make a bicameral system. Okay, so Rajya Sabha was implemented, but Rajya Sabha functioning and process is very different from Lok Sabha. Okay, in Rajya Sabha we don't do direct voting system, and in Lok Sabha we do. So although the functions are very different, but Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha really helped a lot to maintain the functions properly. Now, what functions actually the two? Let's study. So each house of parliament had a leader who makes sure debates and decisions run smoothly and fairly. The Lok Sabha members choose a speaker who conducts the meeting, give meeting a chance to speak, keeps order, ensure that parliament rules are followed. The Rajya Sabha is led by Vice President of India, who serves as its chairman and oversees its proceeding. Okay, the parliament role in carrying out rules is executive responsibility. It's just as important as its role in making laws. Okay, or legislative functions. The union executive is responsible for putting the rules and decisions of parliament into action, giving effect to the powers and policies that parliament creates. The union executive consists of the following members, which include president, vice president, and the council of ministers, which are headed by the prime minister. Council of ministers is chosen from among the MPs of both the houses of parliament. These ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. Okay, that means in Lok Sabha actual rules are made, and in Rajya Sabha union executive proceedings happens. Okay, and both are very important for better functioning of houses. Okay, and in union executives, these president, vice president, and council of ministers are included. What is Sengal? Sengal is a 5-foot long royal scepter that symbolizes righteousness, justice, and authority. This is very important. Over the centuries, this kingly emblem has been used to mark the transfer of powers in Tamilian kingdom. Sengal was given to India's first Prime Minister P.T. Jawaharlal Nehru on eve of independence. Later, it was installed in the new parliamentary building by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In 2023, the Sengal scepter was installed in the new parliamentary building by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It was placed near the Lok Sabha speaker's seat in the new parliament building and accompanied by a plaque explaining its history and meaning. Okay, they said new parliament building because new parliament has formed, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. I'm sure you would know that new parliament has formed. Okay, earlier it was earlier one is not used by for main functions. Okay, so now it was transferred. Okay, near the seat of Lok Sabha speaker. Okay, Lok Sabha Speaker I already explained. That is the main leader who maintain all the parliament members' functions. Okay, Sangal in Lok Sabha symbolizes sacrifices made by the people of India during the freedom struggles, justice, and democratic values. Okay, this is Sangal. You can see this picture. The term Sengal is derived from the Tamil word that is Semaya. Okay, I already explained that is on based on Tamilian kingdoms, which means righteousness. It is a remarkable gold plated silver sculpture approximately 54 centimeter in length. Sengal is made from precious metal including priceless gemstones. Okay, so this is of the length of 54 centimeter. It has a unique design as you can see, and knob at the top. Okay, there is a knob at the top and series of rings below it. Okay, so there is a series of rings you can see. These rings symbolizes different stages of life and journey of the rulers. Further, the bull of Nandi on Sengal symbolizes justice. It is associated with the Chola Empire, one of the longest ruling and most influential dynasty in South India. Okay, the Cholas ruled over parts of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha, and Sri Lanka from 9th to 13th century Common Era. They were known for their military prowess, maritime trade, administrative efficiency, cultural patronage, and temple architecture. Okay, so this is based on that. Okay, and this is very important, which is symbolizing rightness, which symbolizes rightness, justice, and authority. Okay, and first given to the first Prime Minister of India, that is Jawaharlal Nehru, and later Narendra Modi. Legislative functions of the Parliament. The Parliament has important functions to keep India's democracy strong, like making law, checking the government, and managing money. These functions are divided into four main types, that is constitutional functions, lawmaking, executive accountability, and financial accountability. What is constitutional functions? Okay, so it includes like enabling parliamentary democratic through universal adult suffrage, following the separation of powers between legislative, executive, and judiciary, okay, which are the three organs of the body and work independently, ensuring federalism that that power should be divided so that no any single ruler will dominate the powers and misuse that. Upholding fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy by framing laws and policies. Okay, so these include the constitutional functions. Next, we have lawmaking. So the parliament primary responsibility to make laws. Okay, I already explained you that we also say sometimes that Lok Sabha make laws. Okay, because directly its main responsibility is to make laws, which are rules for the country throughout a careful process. It starts as a bill, which is draft from a proposed law introduced to the parliament. The bill goes through many steps like discussions and voters before it becomes an act, which is a law everyone must follow. Okay, because laws everyone must follow, so procedures happen. Not directly anyone can make this. An example is the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act 2009, which became law after a long process in Parliament. The Constitution set strict rules to make sure lawmaking is fair and true. Okay, because it affects the entire country progress. Okay, now how actually any bill implement? Okay, so to build an act, the process of lawmaking in the Parliament. First, introduction in either house of the Parliament. First of all, introduction start, discussion start, reading of the bill, and then that bill actually read by everyone. Referred to the standing committee. Taken up for the consideration and passes. Close and close discussion and amendments voted on the bill. Okay, that means everyone votes that they agree with that bill or not. Process repeated in other house, that means other house majority also matters, and presidential assents, gazette notification. Okay, and this is the process of lawmaking. Executive accountability. The Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are a part of Union Executive. They are primarily responsible for implementing and enforcing laws. Okay, so we already discussed that legislative assembly make the laws, and to implement that we have executive assemblies. Okay, so they also take decisions day by day to proper functioning of the government, and they also answerable to Lok Sabha through mechanism like the question hour, which requires minister to justify actions and decisions. Okay, so make a proper verification that why and for what purpose they are doing that purpose of actions. Okay, special committees also held meetings, okay, where they have to explain and give answers of that questions. Okay, now we have financial accountability, who take cares about money spent and questions asked that on what purpose you have spent your money and where entire money is going, which is given to the Lok Sabha. and they also have give permanent timeline for accurate information about its spending. Okay, this is how no one is able to misuse the powers of money. Executive functions of parliament, we have first the prime president, okay, who is the head of the state and official head of the executive, but prime minister and council ministers are the main who run the governments. President appoints the prime ministers and other ministers, calls parliament to meet and sign bills to make them laws. The council of ministers advises the president, who usually follows their advice. In special cases like when no party has a clear majority in the Lok Sabha, the president can make decisions on the own. Okay. The Prime Ministers and the Council of Ministers, they are the main leaders of Indian government and working with ministers to make the decisions and run the country. President are the one who appoints the leader of the majority party or coalition in the Lok Sabha as the Prime Minister, who needs support of most MPs. Okay, so Prime Minister leads the Council of Ministers, advises the President, coordinates different ministries and shape national policies. The Council of Ministers chooses MPs of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, makes decisions and runs the government and answer to Lok Sabha. This is how members are elected, and all the functions and members are included in this. This is a difference and a chart between, you can read this. Next we have judiciary. Now we have studied about legislative, who make the laws, executive, who implement the laws, if I say it a broad way, and now we have judiciary, who check the laws that are these fair for the citizens of the country or not. So the judiciary is the part of the government that explain and applies laws, making sure everyone follows the constitution. Okay. So there is a check and balance system which is checked by the judiciary organ. Okay, they applies laws, and especially when there are disputes between groups or peoples on regarding that laws. Okay, they also resolve disputes, keep society and government working fair. Okay, and separation of powers, checks and balance systems held. Okay, so this is important that between the three organs, check and balance system follows. Legislative and executive functions at the state level. So just like the central government is a parliament, state as its government with legislative and executive to make and carry out laws. Okay. Legislative executive functions at the state level. So just like central government works as a parliament, this is also similarly like that. Okay, so first of all, each state has a state assembly. Okay, and similar to the parliament with members of legislative assembly like MLA who actually make the laws. Okay, MLAs make laws for subjects on the state list with local issues and the concurrent list which is shared with the central government. State government both have legislative and executive, okay, job like the central government. Okay, so union list, state list and concurrent list we are talking about. Okay, so what they are showing that powers are divided among horizontal and vertical in both ways. So union, state and concurrent list, the Indian constitution provided 3 lists to define legislative powers. First is union list, state list and concurrent list. Okay, so this is designed so that we are able to ensure that on what factors people have to take care. Okay, for example, in your class, teacher decides that this particular group will work on this particular group will work on this. Okay, so that no kind of disputes happen and everyone has their own jobs and they have to take care of those responsibilities also and do not able to interfere between each other. This is same funda here. Okay, so for those people who comes in union list, okay, can legislate on, for example, they will take care about defense, foreign affairs and currency on major activities. For state list, the issues slightly goes down. For example, they take care of local government issues. For concurrent list, which is for both union and state government can make laws, for example, education, forest, marriage, adoption. So in case of conflict, concurrent list subject, the union laws prevail over state laws. Okay, because that is superior. Okay, so you can read this chart. This is a very beautiful chart, okay, for a quick understanding. Now, what is structure of state legislatives? So they have 2 houses already discussed depending on the state to make laws and run the state government. So state governments can be unicameral. Okay, unicameral, that means not necessary to make 2 houses, that is Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, which is called bicameral. Clear? That means one house which we call as Vidhan Sabha. Okay. The Vidhan Sabha is the main legislative assembly like the Lok Sabha, and Vidhan Sabha is the upper house like Rajya Sabha. Okay, only 6 states have bicameral system, which are these. Okay, the remaining states have unicameral system. That means only those remaining the states of these 6 states we have unicameral system. Okay, that means we have only Vidhan Sabha. Okay, this is a picture of Vidhan Sabha houses of legislative in Karnataka. What are the challenges to the effective functions of the legislatures? Okay, so first of all, big jobs like making laws and checking government. This is an important task that make their work harder. So this section explains challenges, how people fix them. So first of all, importance of legislatures. Okay, that means the importance is very good. They have to make laws, which is the very important part to make any country functioning properly. Okay, approve budget, discuss national policies, development plays, international relations, or people's also complain on the basis of rules. Okay, this can affect the entire government. Okay, so this is first of all the importance of legislation, importance of legislatures. Okay, next we have issues in functioning. That means if they function those things, then they have so many issues like showing up regularly, not cooperating, having poor quality debates. Okay, that means not good quality debates to explain our functions properly. The question hour where minister answer MP's question is sometimes disrupted, making it harder to hold the government accountable. Okay, this is very difficult while functioning on any issue, because majority required, good disputes between people required, so that no arguments happen and that function properly happens. Because to make any law, so many people's agreement required. Okay, that means agreement of maximum people is necessary. Only on the basis of some people's of any function do not play. Okay, third is meeting schedules. That means they have 3 times a year in a budget, monsoon and winter sessions, with daily sittings of about 6 hours, which can be extended for urgent work. Okay, so state and assembly have similar schedules, and disruptions can set session short and delaying important work. Okay, that means with so many sessions, they can delay their important work for the functioning of any law. Concerns about members that some Lok Sabha have criminal cases against them, which raises concerns about their ability to represent people. Many sessions agree or biased dates that don't focus on solving people's problem, and some bills take years to pass. Okay, that means we have also seen that in the case of women's reservation seat, years passed to pass this reservation. Okay, in fact, this was written in many books that this should happen. Okay, so that means to pass any law, so many problems come, that about concerns about members that most of people don't agree, and delays or years passes to implement any law. For this media role, that media highlights the issue of legislature, sometimes uses cartoons to show the problems humorously, which is common in strong democracies. It informs people about what their leaders are doing and what needs to change. Okay, this is also important to take care about. People's role, that democracy goes stronger when citizens stay informed, ask questions, share views, and join public discussions, and this is how government powers will be very controllable by peoples. Okay, so including through digital platform offered by government departments, these in a strong government, these should be available for any citizens to do. Most young leaders and diverse voices are joining public life, and technology helps people stay connected to governments. Future voters like students will play a big role in improving parliament and state assemblies by making smart choices and participating. Okay, so this is also important, that people, youth have should that much ability to select the right citizens. Okay, so here over this important chapter completes, where you have done a brief discussion about legislative, executive, how they actually work, and a small discussion about judiciary as well. I hope everything is clear till here. Thank you.